Right now, you are probably looking forward to pouring yourself a cold beer or a glass of wine to shake off the stress of a brutal week. You crack open a bottle, take that first long sip, and feel a warm, relaxing wave wash over your brain. It feels like the ultimate modern escape. But here is the thing. That simple everyday drink is not actually modern at all. It is a biological time machine. Gathering together to get a little buzzed is one of the oldest, most deeply hardwired behaviors in the entire human story. It is older than writing. It is older than farming. It is even older than our actual species, Homo sapiens. The question is, how on earth did our wild ancestors first figure out how to get drunk? And why did this bizarre habit become the secret engine that built human civilization? To find the absolute beginning of this love affair, we have to travel back 10 million years, long before humans ever walked the earth. Our distant primate ancestors lived high up in the safety of the trees. Their diet was simple. They ate fresh, ripe fruit, but then the global climate shifted. The dense forests began to shrink, forcing some brave primates down from the canopy to search for food on the cold, hard forest floor. Up in the branches, fruit stays fresh. Down on the damp ground, fruit rots. It sits in the dirt, collecting wild yeasts from the air, which slowly eat the natural sugars and poop out ethanol. Basically, the prehistoric forest floor was a minefield of mushy, bruised, highly alcoholic mush. For almost every animal on Earth, eating this rotten fruit is an absolute death sentence. If a normal monkey eats fermenting fruit, its body cannot process the alcohol. It gets completely wasted, loses its balance, falls over, and gets immediately eaten by a passing predator. But our ancestors had a secret weapon. Scientists like Dr. Matthew Carrigan analyzed ancient genetic codes and discovered that right around 10 million years ago, a single miraculous mutation occurred in our lineage. It altered a specific gene called ADH4. The result of this tiny genetic tweak was mind-blowing. Suddenly, our ancestors became 40 times faster at breaking down ethanol in their livers. Just like that, the rotten fruit on the forest floor went from a toxic hazard to a gold mine of easy, dense calories. The primates who could eat the boozy floor fruit without passing out survived the food shortage. The ones who could not died out. We did not start drinking because we wanted to party. We started drinking because it was the only way to avoid starvation. But scavenging mushy forest fruit is one thing. Actually, brewing your own craft beer is a completely different beast. For millions of years, our ancestors were just opportunistic scavengers, waiting for nature to accidentally ferment some garbage for them. That all changed 13,000 years ago in a dark, quiet cave in Israel. An archaeologist named Li Lu was investigating Rakafet Cave, an ancient burial site used by a fascinating group of prehistoric hunter-gatherers called the Natufians. While examining the site, her team noticed deep, hollowed-out mortars. When they analyzed the microscopic starch residues left inside these stone vats, they did not find remnants of basic flour or wild seeds. They found the chemical footprint of a complex, three-step brewing process. The Natufians were gathering wild wheat and barley, mashing it up, letting it ferment with wild yeasts, and heating it. This is the oldest evidence of man-made alcohol ever found on Earth. But here is the real kicker. These people were not farmers. They had no permanent homes, no crops, and no metal pots. Yet, they spent countless hours of agonizing physical labor carving deep stone vats into solid cave floors, all just to brew a thick, cloudy, low-alcohol beer that probably tasted like warm, sour porridge. Why on earth would nomadic survivors waste so much energy on this? The clue is in where they did it. Rakafet Cave was not a home. It was a graveyard. The Natufians were brewing this prehistoric beer specifically for massive, emotional feasts to honor their dead. They realized that alcohol was a powerful psychological tool. It lowered social anxiety, broke down barriers between rival tribes, and helped human beings bond in times of grief. Before we ever built houses, we built bars. And this realization brings us to one of the biggest, most fiercely contested debates in the entire history of archaeology. For over a century, the standard textbook story of humanity was simple. We assumed that humans got tired of wandering, settled down, invented agriculture to grow wheat for bread, and then eventually realized they could ferment the leftover grain into beer. But there is a massive, gaping hole in that theory. Farming in the Stone Age was an absolute nightmare. It was backbreaking, tedious, dangerous work, that ruined human spines and left us vulnerable to crop failures. Why would a perfectly healthy, free-roaming hunter-gatherer give up an easy, diverse diet of wild game and fresh plants just to spend 14 hours a day breaking their back over a muddy field of wheat? They wouldn't. Not for a loaf of dry bread. This is why many modern archaeologists now believe in a radical alternative, the beer before bread hypothesis. It suggests that civilization was not built on food, but on booze. The desperate desire to have a steady, predictable supply of grain for ceremonial brewing is what finally forced our ancestors to settle down and invent agriculture. The drive to keep the party going created farming. Farming created permanent villages. Villages grew into cities. And cities built the modern world. Think about that for a second. The entire monument of human civilization might just be one giant, accidental side effect of prehistoric humans trying to throw a better wake for their friends. Once we committed to farming, our obsession with fermentation exploded across the globe. 9,000 years ago, in the Neolithic village of Jiahu in China, early humans decided to push the boundaries of brewing. Dr. Patrick McGovern, a legendary biomolecular archaeologist, analyzed the inside of ancient clay jars found at the site. He discovered traces of a wild, prehistoric cocktail. The villagers of Jiahu were mixing rice, wild grapes, hawthorn fruit, and honey, letting the wild elements ferment into a sweet, sour, highly potent hybrid of beer, wine, and mead. But as humanity grew, alcohol stopped being just a sacred ritual. It became a literal life jacket. Before the invention of modern sanitation and water treatment, drinking raw water from a river was a deadly game of Russian roulette. Water was crawling with cholera, dysentery, and lethal parasites. But the fermentation process produces alcohol, which naturally kills off harmful pathogens. For thousands of years of human and watered-down wine were quite literally the only safe liquids a human being could put in their body. In ancient Egypt, the massive army of workers who built the Great Pyramids of Giza were not paid in gold or silver. Every single worker received a daily ration of about 4 to 5 liters of thick, nutrient-rich, low-alcohol beer. It kept them safe from waterborne illness, hydrated them in the brutal desert heat, and provided the easy calories they needed to haul multi-ton stone blocks up massive ramps. Without beer, the ancient wonders of the world would quite literally never have been built. By the time the Roman Empire conquered the Mediterranean, alcohol had transformed into a massive, global commercial industry. The Romans planted vineyards across Europe that still exist to this day. They turned winemaking into a science, categorizing drinks by social class. The elite drank aged, spice-infused vintages, while Roman soldiers and laborers drank pasca, a cheap, sour, vinegar-like wine, mixed with water and herbs to stay hydrated on the march. But as the centuries rolled on, humans did what we always do. We took a natural, gentle process and optimized it to the extreme.